As the world opens up post-pandemic, there are going to be needs out there to be met. Here's one thing, I think that the job market is going to be depressed. So you really might have a success, so you might have a better chance of you starting your own business. And so I recommend that you look, while you're looking for a job or while you're still at work, you might explore what it means to be your own business owner. So let me give you a few tips about starting your own business. Find what you are good at. Yes, you're probably good at something. You may not know it, but other people know it. What do people come to you and ask you about? Where phone calls do you get from your friends and from family members? What are they asking you about? That's a need. That's a need that someone has. If your friend has that need, maybe there are other people out there who have that need. That's something that you might want to consider starting a business upon. What else are you good at? What do you spend your spare time doing? Can that be turned into a profitable business? Well, you never know. You've got to just simply get good at it, and then you have to put it out there. So find something you are good at. Now, here's the thing about finding something you are good at. You may not realize that you are good simply because you are your worst critic. We continue to self-criticize and self-evaluate our products. In the business world, that's not really your job. Your product is not for you, it's for your customer. Leave them to evaluate it. So turn your ideas into a product. Many people have ideas, but ideas don't sell. Products sell, and services. So you have to find a means to turn your ideas into a product or a service. So what are you good at? Can you turn it into a product or a service? If you can, then that's great. The next thing after turning your idea into a product or a service is to find a market for it. But I always like to tell people that those ideas are yours. They need someone else to pay you for them. Those products are the product of your ideas. Product of your imagination, your imagined market, your imagined use. What you need to do is to find a real user, a real buyer. It's always good to start with friends and family. What can they use this for? Is it of any good to them? Yes, but don't forget that they're not your market, they're not your target. They're just what you will use as early adopters. They're the people who will give you feedback on the product, and that period where you're getting feedback from friends and family and from the early adopters gives you the opportunity to improve on your product, or to just simply kill it. Because if no one wants it, maybe there's no market for it out there. So you find what you're good at, you turn your passion into a product or service, and you find a real customer. What you're doing is you're testing it out in the real world. Does anybody want it? Once you find a few people that want it, then you need to start beginning to develop the product into something that can be packaged and sold. And what that means is that you have to have a means of selling it. How do people find you? Remember that they have to find you, and then they have to exchange your product or service for money. For that to happen, people have to find value in what you are doing or what you're offering. It is a long process. It's not something that can be achieved overnight, and might I say, it's not exactly as straightforward as I'm putting it. Remember, I talked about the messy middle. There's always a start, the passion to go on, but there'll be lots of disappointments along the way. You're going to have to make it up. You're going to have to find ways to keep yourself afloat while you're going on until you find the real market. And so you need to find what you're good at, you need to turn that passion into a product or service, you need to find real customers, and then you need to find a process of selling it to your customers. As you sell your service, you need to find a means of taking money from the people. This day and age, we've got the online is perhaps the most accessible medium that we have right now. You've got to be able to sell your product online. Getting a physical store is expensive, and so it's easier to sell online and simply find a means of delivery. And when you're developing your product, please don't spend too much time on perfecting it, because you really don't know what people want. It's not just your ideas. These are just things, prototypes we call them, that you're testing out. But as you test the prototype, as you get feedback, you get better and you improve the product. Find what you're good at, turn it into a product or service, find real customers, and then sell to them and collect the money. And then you've got a business going. So what's the best time to start? Now is the best time to start, because the process can take 6 months, 6 years. Who knows how long it will take before you really start to make real money. In that time, you really have to survive. You have to pay your bills. You have to keep on living. So while there is talk about starting your own business, there's so many things around that, but I still do recommend that you give it a try, give it a go. We have a seminar coming up very soon. It's something that you can join us on. Every once in a while we do business seminars, and I, as a person, I'm a business coach as well, because I run my own business. I've been doing that for several years. So post-pandemic opportunities are out there. I hope you can get a bite or a piece of the action.